welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So, um, yeah, today I'm gonna be doing a dream time video, and today I'll be sharing with you this dream I had back in December. And yes, this is another dream I had about where I'm watching one of the scenes of A Few Good Men. Now, this was a bit of a short dream, but that's how these certain dreams are. Or even if I'm watching a movie, even if it's a certain scene, sometimes it'll be just a little short, but that's okay. I still remember how it went, so I still remember the details. So this was, I would say, early December. I'm not sure the date exactly, but it was early December when I had this other dream that I was watching A Few Good Men, but it wasn't the same scene as before. It was a different scene. This scene was actually where, let's see, Tom Cruise, Kevin Pollak, and Demi Moore, where their characters fly to Cuba to talk with Jack Nicholson, Colonel Jessup, to talk about Santiago. So that was the scene where it didn't show the part where they arrived. It was only at the part where they were talking, where they were at the table, where the three of them were on this side and the other three were sitting on this side across from each other talking. And that was around that part of the scene that I was dreaming about. And so yeah, it was that. And so of course I can hear the same dialogue in the movie. It doesn't change, but sometimes when I do dream of certain movie scenes, sometimes the dialogue can change a little bit, whether it might sound either a little funny or whether it sound maybe a bit dramatic or just maybe a little intense or scary, or maybe something that's so strange where you don't expect for the character to say something like that and you're like, what? But no, the dialogue of this scene does not change because it is exactly the same. And so as I'm watching this scene, I just remember thinking, like, okay, so they're talking about Santiago, and so, you know, Colonel Jessup, he's pretty much lying to their face. He's saying how that he, Lieutenant Colonel Morganson and Lieutenant Kendrick, how they all discussed about Santiago and how they all agreed to transfer him off the base, which in fact is complete BS, because in a much earlier scene where it shows the flashback where they are in his office talking about Santiago, including the letter he wrote, that's not what happened at all, because it was Lieutenant Colonel Morganson who suggested to transfer Santiago off the base. And I think that would have been better if that had happened, but that didn't. And so of course Colonel Jessup, he does not agree at all. But when he doesn't agree in a respectful way. He agrees in a such complete asshole kind of way. And I know you may not really hear me saying anything like that, and I know I don't really cuss on here, but if I ever feel like if I have to a little bit to describe a character or maybe a scene, then I will. But you know, of course, I don't really do that on my channel. I just find other ways to say things a little bit differently. And I know it might look a little, I don't know if it looks a little dark in here, but bear with me. The light, of course, it's from outside, so of course it's gonna be here just for a little while, so I'm gonna get right to the dream. So yeah, so like I said, that's what happened in that scene, and of course that's where something else happened, and that's where he ended up saying something that was just what I thought just right out cold and harsh. And so once you see later what it was that he said, I'm like, and this is why when he is, like I said, so in the dream of this scene where they're talking about it, like I said, he's pretty much lying to them how they all agreed about transferring him off the base, and as I mentioned, which is a big fat lie, complete BS, and but at this point, as we can see, that Lieutenant Colonel Markinson does not interfere. He doesn't say anything in the conversation to either agree with him, to either just like go along with it, like to agree with him, even though he doesn't really, even though he doesn't agree at all. But then again, he doesn't say anything to let them know, like, well, that he's just lying about that. Because I think if he were to interfere, to say anything, even to tell them the truth, that I think he would get in trouble with Colonel Jessup. So that's why he didn't interfere. So he just let him do all the talking, which I can see why, because it's a very sticky situation, and it's a kind of a situation where if you say something, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you're gonna be stuck, and where you wouldn't know how to pull yourself out of this situation, out of this conversation, where it's like, oh great, okay, maybe I shouldn't have maybe said that, maybe I should have said it when it was more private, you know what I mean? So that I can see why Colonel Jessup was the one doing most of the talking, which I can understand why. And then like I said, of course this dream is just quite interesting because I'm just dreaming about this scene, and okay, I'm trying to think, so what else? Oh yeah, because even in the scene he tells them that when they had agreed to transfer him off the base, which again, lie, and then when he said that, oh yeah, he said that his flight was going to be at 600 in the morning, but then it was 5 hours too late when they had found out, so meaning that it wasn't until 5 hours later that they had actually heard about Santiago's death. So when they heard about it, it was until like 5 hours later. But then again, it's not really true. Was it really true, the fact that they did not know about it until 5 hours later, and which is why I don't know, I'm really trying to make sense of this. So is that part really true, or is he just saying that because maybe they were informed of Santiago's death maybe a little earlier than 5 hours, but yet maybe he just doesn't want to say that? But then again, it could have been they were notified about it until 5 hours later, so it could have been that. So I think that part could have been true if he's telling the truth about that. And okay, I'm trying to think, what else was he saying? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think of what else he was saying. So, but yeah, Okay, so I can't really think of anything else at the moment, but like I said, it was just pretty much that scene itself, and of course, at some point, um, that's when Tom Cruise, Lieutenant Kaffee, that's when he asked him, well, because I don't think he really asked him. He said, I would need the copy of the transfer order. And he's like, what's that? And he's like, I just need a copy of the transfer order. And so, he tells him that he can have the copy of the transfer order, and that he said something else after that. I forgot what. But then, of course, he ends up acting like a complete, like I said, a-hole that he is, because, and yeah, he's like really harsh about it. But even the rest what he says to him was just like, whoa, okay. And yet, I felt like the rest of what he said to Lieutenant Kaffee, I feel like it wasn't quite necessary for him to say that, but I felt like he ended up saying what he said, which just sounded, again, just harsh, because I think he was just caught off guard that Tom Cruise had even asked him for the transfer order. So I think that just got him feeling just upset, and that just got him feeling, like, I think is mad in a way, a bit angry, because, I think he just puts himself on this high pedestal, and yet he's thinking, okay, well, if you want something, you gotta ask me nicely. And so, yeah, that's just, like, I feel like his behavior and his attitude and personality and the way he talks is just straight out bold, and just, harsh, cold, and, aggressive. And so, him saying, now of course I can't really say word for word what it was he said to Lieutenant Kaffee, but I feel like with what he said was just one of those things where it was, disrespectful, and like I said, it was just straight out cold and just mean, and it's just like, okay. Like, he didn't have to really say all that. He could have talked to him. He could have told him, oh, if you don't mind, but, if you want the transfer order, just please ask me first. That's all he could have said. But no, he had to go to the point of just coming out cold, where when someone says something like that, you are just gonna look at them in shock and be like, I wasn't expecting you to say that to me and to talk to me that way, which I felt, yeah, it was disrespectful, and just, I just feel like it would be any kind of mean-hearted person would say. And of course, in fact, since he was the villain, then yeah, I can see why he would said that. Say that. But I'm sorry. I'm kind of stumbling on my words a little bit, but anyway. But yes, so that was the scene, and of course, the dream ended. The dream ended where the scene ended, where Tom Cruise has this look like he was not expecting for Colonel Jessup to say that to him, and where he even said to him, saying, if it's alright, can I have the copy of the transfer order? So he did ask, but he didn't ask in a way of how he probably would have asked. He asked that he felt, that I believe that he felt intimidated, and he felt he was, caught off guard, that he even said that to him. So it was like this shock that, he wasn't expecting that. And so after that, yeah, that's how it ended. And of course they walk away, and of course Tom Cruise, he has this look where he's like, like that, because he's still shocked from what just happened and what he said and how he just spoke to him like that. So yeah, and after that we see this cold, mean look on his face as they walk away. And that's of course how the scene ended, and that's how the dream ended. So, and yes, it is getting a little dark, but there's pink light behind me, so hopefully that'll still be good. I hope that's at least somewhat good enough for the end of the video. So yes, that's how the dream ended. And so yeah, when I woke up, so yeah, honestly I just woke up just feeling like, okay, I feel like there's something about that scene to why I dreamt about it, and I think there's an importance, something important within that scene to why I dreamt about it. And I think there is. I think it had to do with the fact that he was lying to them from what did not happen. And not only that, but it just showed like the way he spoke to Lieutenant Kaffee, it just showed to him and the rest his true colors of the person that he really is. Because of course we also saw that earlier in the flashback scene in his office. So we saw that even we were able to see his true colors of the character he really is even before Tom Cruise and the rest of the characters got to see that themselves. So yeah, and I believe that's what it was and why I dreamt about it. So anyway, I really hope you guys enjoy this. I'm sorry if it looks a little dark in here. But anyway, just gonna end it here. So for more movie content, reactions, and dreams, subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.